Nobody would have thought. Behind the spotlight of the world stage, the cheers of thousands of fans, and the status of a global megastar, Jungkook BTS chose a quiet night at a small barbecue restaurant in the middle of Seoul. But that night was no ordinary night, because this rare moment was caught on camera. So, guys, the picture you see may look ordinary at first glance. A guy with a loose hoodie, a black beanie hat, and white striped training pants sitting in the corner of the restaurant. But wait, if you look closely, that's not just anyone. That's Jungkook, the golden magne of BTS. Yup, you're not seeing things wrong. We all know Jungkook, not only as the main vocalist of BTS who has a distinctive voice and strong vocal technique, but also as someone who really protects his privacy. If he appears in a public space without an official schedule, it's like finding a unicorn in the middle of Seoul. And that night, it seemed like he just wanted to take a break. Far from the glitz of the entertainment world, far from the spotlight, and just being ordinary Jungkook, who wants to eat barbecue with his closest people. This place doesn't look like a fancy five-star restaurant. It's more like a local Korean barbecue joint, with round tables, small black stools, and a stainless steel chimney hanging above the grill. The place that is usually bustling with casual chats and laughter from customers, that night witnessed a rare, simple moment. Just look at Jungkook's style. Very casual. A large gray hoodie that half covers his body, a black beanie that covers part of his hair, a mask that is sometimes worn and sometimes removed, and a soju bottle in his hand. This isn't the first time Jungkook has been seen drinking, but it always causes a scene because it shows his human side. Not as an idol, but as a young man in his 20s who sometimes wants to enjoy a cold night in Seoul, have casual chats, and chew on grilled meat without having to think about concert schedules or media interviews. Who's his friend? Now, this is interesting. The guy sitting next to him looks older, wearing a black t-shirt and a hat. He could be a manager, a security staff, or an old friend that he trusts. What's clear is that they're chatting intimately. It doesn't look like there's any pressure or just formal small talk. They even sit at a corner table, most likely asking for a hidden spot, so they can eat quietly without being stared at by many people. What makes it even more special is that this isn't a photo taken by a big media outlet, but a candid photo taken by fans or other visitors who happen to be there. And this shows how Jungkook can still act chill even though the public is aware. He remains calm, still appreciates the moment. Even in one photo, he is seen pointing his hand towards a small monitor screen on the table, probably to order additional food. Very simple, right? But precisely in that simplicity, we can see something deeper. Jungkook, whose life has been full of pressure, from a teenage trainee, debuting in 2013, to now becoming a global superstar, can still find time to enjoy the little things. Sitting, eating, chatting, drinking a little. That's it. And that's very important for mental health. To maintain balance in a tough life, like the world of K-pop. If we take it further theoretically, we can go into the concept of public persona versus private self. In Goffman's sociological theory, every individual is like an actor. On stage, they appear with a certain role, but backstage, they are themselves. Well, tonight, you could say we got a little peek at Jungkook's backstage. Not the one standing majestically in the stadium or winning awards, but the one just sitting while cooking samgyeopsal. And for ARMY, this is a priceless moment. Because moments like this show that their idols are ordinary people too. Those who have time to be tired, want to heal, want to chat without thinking about their image, want to feel comfortable without the camera. But in the end, the camera is still there. And we are lucky to be able to see this side, even though it's only through blurry photos and minimal lighting. What's also interesting is that this place wasn't crowded. Either it was really late at night, or Jungkook came at a quiet hour. But one thing is for sure, this is not a setup. This is real. This is real. And that's what makes the atmosphere of the photo really feel warm, calm, and honest. For those of you who like to think, what do idols do in their free time? Well, this is one answer. No need for a fancy party, no need to go abroad. Sometimes just a small table, a grill, a friend to chat with, and a quiet night in the middle of a busy city. And if you think this is just a small thing for Jungkook, maybe this is the biggest thing. Time to feel like himself. Because amidst the pressures of the global music industry, times like this are a priceless luxury. But the question now is, why does this small moment feel so meaningful? Why can a single portrait of Jungkook sitting in the corner of a restaurant in a super simple outfit instantly warm ARMY's hearts? The answer lies in the emotional connection. For more than a decade, Jungkook has not only appeared on screen as a singer or dancer. He has grown with his fans. We see him from a shy 15-year-old teenager to a grown man who is starting to dare to voice his opinions, try an independent lifestyle, and even dare to appear as he is. And that night, everything seemed to meet at one point. That night was not about visuals or performance, not about charts or trophies, but about one simple thing: humanity. Jungkook, who eats while occasionally laughing softly. Jungkook, who chats casually. Jungkook, who might tell stories about his hard life, without a camera, without a script. And this is where the specialness lies. At a time when many idols live with the pressure to always appear perfect, Jungkook shows that being ordinary can also be very valuable, even more powerful than 1,000 grand performances on stage. Because fans can see that they are not that different. They're also human, just like Jungkook. Well, moments like this usually have symbolic meaning for fans. Many say, "Look at him, so calm. I also want to give myself some time." If Jungkook needs a break, why do I have to push myself all the time? And from there, a new strength is born. Strength that comes from empathy and mutual understanding. We also can't forget that this happened at a time when Jungkook was getting older. He was no longer a teenager who was busy following other people's agendas. Now, he has started to make more of his own decisions, including how he manages his personal time, chooses who he meets, and where he wants to go. One of the interesting things that developed from this situation was a little speculation from fans. Is this a sign of a new solo project? Because several times before, Jungkook was seen disappearing for a moment from the public before finally appearing with a big surprise. And judging from his mood and facial expression, that night, he looked very calm. It could be a sign that he was in the creative process, formulating ideas, looking for inspiration. Because many people don't realize, sometimes the best ideas come from the simplest places and times. Not in the studio, not when you're chasing a deadline, but when you sit quietly, smell the barbecue, and laugh with someone you trust. And who knows, maybe Jungkook's next song will be born from this moment. And make no mistake, ARMY always has sharp eyes. They don't just see who's in the photo, but also the atmosphere, facial expressions, even small items on the table. Drink bottles, sauce caps, cell phones, to table tissues. Because all of that makes up a small puzzle about Jungkook's personal life that can never be seen in full. But precisely because of those pieces, fans love him even more. Understand more that being an idol is not an easy life. That every little break, every silent moment, is also a struggle. Especially in these years, where some BTS members are undergoing military service, Jungkook has more space to explore himself. He can get out of the shadow of BTS for a moment and find his voice and personal identity. But of course, without ever really leaving. Because in the end, he is still BTS's Jungkook. But now, it's more than that. He is a grown Jungkook. A Jungkook who chooses his own quiet time.